Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your football predictions. So it feels like forever since the last time I did one of these videos. I think my beard has doubled in size since the last time I did one of these videos because we've had FA Cup football, we've had League Cup football, but this weekend the Premier League is back. So we'll take a quick look at my predictions from the last round of Premier League football. No correct scores. So no surprise there. I was right that Arsenal would beat Fulham, and I was right that Newcastle would lose against Manchester United. So a couple of correct outcomes, but no correct scores for me. As always, loads of you guys got involved, loads of likes, comments on the last video, so thank you to everyone who predicted their scores. And we had 5 people who got 2 correct scores. And then I went through the correct outcomes, and they all got the same amount of correct outcomes. So the winners are Jun Plays, Oscar, BC, and Amy. There was a 5th person who got 2 correct scores, but they seem to have deleted their comments. So I don't know if they meant to or if that was an accident, but I couldn't find it again. So yeah, well done to these 4 people. I've subscribed to all of them and put their YouTube links down in the description, so make sure you guys go and check them out. And remember, if you want to be shouted out in the next predictions video, get your predictions for the upcoming games down in the comments below. As always, I go through all of them before the first game kicks off at the weekend. I had a load of people who got correct scores but put them in after the games had already kicked off, so I couldn't include them. So try and be as early as you can. But as always, I've picked 4 games and we'll go through them now. First up on Saturday at 12:30, we've got West Ham taking on Arsenal. So 2 London clubs. West Ham currently sitting in 10th place. They had a fantastic run of form not too long ago where they won 4 games in a row. They have dropped away from that a little bit, and they drew their most recent Premier League game against Brighton 2-2. They also played in the FA Cup and beat Birmingham, so they have won their most recent game, and no doubt they're going to want to try and re-grab that form that they were having not too long ago. As for Arsenal, they are currently sitting in 5th place. As I mentioned, they're still trying to chase Chelsea up in 4th place, just 3 points behind them at the minute, so depending on results, if they can grab a win this weekend, it will be very, very helpful for their chase for a top 4 spot. In their last 5 games, they've won 2, they've drawn 1, and they've lost 2. West Ham, I think, have done very well. I think they've made some good signings this season. Obviously, Arsenal with the new manager have been playing very, very well. Form, I mean, after they lost their first 2 games of the season, Arsenal went through that amazing form of winning however many games in a row. Like I said, most recent form, a couple of losses in there. West Ham are at home, but I think I'm going to back Arsenal 2-1. I think this could be a pretty close game, and I can see why they've put it on the telly, because I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. Next up, the 3 o'clock kickoff. Now, there was a few games in the 3 o'clock kickoff that I thought looked pretty good, but the one I went for is the Cardiff versus Huddersfield game. So, Cardiff currently sitting in 17th place. In their last 5, they have lost 3, drawn 1, won 1, most recently losing their last Premier League game against Spurs, and they also lost against Gillingham in the FA Cup. I did have a look at the team sheet. I don't know Cardiff players well enough, but I'm guessing they made a lot of changes for that game, knowing it's going to be a big game against Huddersfield this weekend. As for Huddersfield, they have lost their last 8 Premier League games in a row, and they are currently 8 points away from safety. 8 points away from 17th place, 8 points away from Cardiff. So I've mentioned this in past videos when talking about Huddersfield. They need points on the board quick. And I know they're going away to Cardiff, but it's one of the teams they're going to definitely be looking at in the calendar that they're going to want to try and take some points from. Huddersfield also lost their FA Cup game at the weekend against Bristol City. So again, I've no doubt Huddersfield would have made a lot of changes to that team, knowing that it's Cardiff this weekend. It's a big game for both teams. You've got Cardiff, they're playing at home, they're playing bottom of the league, they want to try and get away from the relegation zone, and they're going to want 3 points. Huddersfield currently sitting bottom of the league, they need points as quickly as they can get them, and they're playing another team who is in that relegation battle with them. So I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's probably, again, I'm going to say it's probably going to be one of those games where it's 1 goal to separate it, 1-0, 1-0 the other way, 1-1. Like I say, now that I've said that, it's probably going to be 3-3, but I'm going to go Cardiff 1-0. If Huddersfield can turn their form around and grab something in this game, big up to them. But right now, I'm going to edge it to Cardiff. Next up, again on this Saturday, but the 5:30 kickoff, we have got Chelsea taking on Newcastle. So it's on TV for everyone to watch. Chelsea currently sitting in 4th place, as I mentioned, 3 points ahead of Arsenal, 4 points behind Spurs. So got themselves a good place in 4th right now, but they're going to want to keep going, keeping Arsenal and also Manchester United, who are creeping up again, at bay. Don't think Chelsea are really in it for the title now. I think Man City and Liverpool have moved away, but they're still going to want that Champions League spot. Chelsea have had plenty of football. They won their FA Cup game against Nottingham Forest, and then they also played again in the League Cup this week when they lost 1-0 against Spurs. If you haven't seen it, the offside VAR penalty that Harry Kane scored, it got sent up to VAR to see if Harry Kane was onside or wasn't offside. They said he was onside, but then there's new pictures coming out of images showing that he was offside. Yeah, will VAR save everything? It seems not, but Chelsea lost that game 1-0. As for Newcastle, 2 points out of the relegation zone, very much in the relegation battle right now. It's Chelsea this weekend. After that it goes Cardiff, and then it goes Man City and Spurs. So Newcastle have got a very tough fixture list right now. Chelsea away. Yeah, it's not getting any easier. Newcastle also played in the FA Cup and drew 1-1 at home to Blackburn, which was probably the worst result because it's adding more games to already quite a congested calendar right now, and it means we are playing Blackburn away on Tuesday night. So there's a lot of games. Scoreline for this one, again, I'm a Newcastle fan. I want the best for Newcastle, obviously, but it's just another one of these games where I would take the 0-0 now. I think Benitez will set up with the 5 at the back. So, I mean, we played well against the top 6 sides, but we're not taking any points away from these games. Same with the Man U game. I thought we played well in that game. We're set up right, but we just can't grab a goal. So we are effectively just defending for the whole game. And I think it's probably going to be similar against Chelsea. Chelsea have had striker issues, but when you've got someone like Hazard on the pitch, he's likely to get one, and Hazard has a fantastic record against Newcastle as well. So again, staying impartial, I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea. And to finish things off on the Sunday, the 4:30 game, we have got Spurs taking on Manchester United. So as I mentioned, Spurs are currently sitting in 3rd, 4 points ahead of 4th place, 4 points ahead of Chelsea. So again, Spurs outside a chance at the title maybe. I'm not sure about that, but they've got themselves a good position for a Champions League place right now, but it's going to be a tough one against Manchester United. Spurs, last 5 games, they've won 4 and they've lost 1. They also played in the FA Cup and beat, it was on the Friday night, wasn't it? They beat Tranmere Rovers 7-0, so they can definitely score some goals. And as I mentioned, they also beat Chelsea in the League Cup. Manchester United, currently sitting in 6th place. They are 6 points off the top 4 spot. In their last 5 games, they played in the FA Cup as well. They beat Reading, so in their last 5 games, including the FA Cup, they've won them all. Since Solskjaer's come in as the caretaker manager, he's won every game. Can he continue that and get another win against Spurs away? Maybe. He might do. It's going to be a tough one going over to Spurs. Obviously, Manchester United, since Solskjaer's come in, there's a new buzz around the place. Presumably the players have got their confidence back and they're winning games. Fair enough. I think this is probably the biggest challenge so far, so it's going to be interesting to see how the players react in this game. As for Spurs, they're at home. They've got the home advantage. They've been winning games. They're looking good. They beat Chelsea in the midweek. That's going to be a boost going into this game. So I want to see goals as a neutral. I want loads and loads of goals in this game. So it probably won't happen this way. But 3-2 Spurs. I mean, that's what I'm going to go for, but as I keep saying, it could go either way. And that's it, guys. So those are my predictions for the weekend up there. Make sure to get your predictions for those 4 games down in the comments below. And as I mentioned, get all of your comments in before the first game kicks off, which is Saturday at 12:30. So you've got tonight, all of Friday, tomorrow, and the Saturday morning as well. Like I said, I've had a few people who are commenting after the first game kicks off, and I do take all of the predictions in before that first game kicks off. So make sure to try and get them in before that. Alright, as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.